Hello everyone, I'm Nandini, a freelance copywriter, and with fastn, I'm also a programmer. You can check out some of the websites I created using fastn in the description below. I recommend using a headphone because some parts of the video is less audible. With that, let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a website using the design system package. The link to the design system package is given in the description below. You can also find it at github.com/fastn-community/design-system. Go through all the files in this package to get a gist of what the package offers. For example, you can check out the layout folder. Here you can find columns, rows, section, column, section, row, and everything. We also have typography, spaces, header, footer, and so on. You can also click on this link and see the different options for each of the elements, like for buttons, the different type of buttons like primary, secondary, tertiary, and so on. Different typographies and how they look. There are also a couple of demo videos or demo websites that are created using the design system package. Now, for this video, I'll be recreating the talknotes.io website to show you how easy and quick it is to create website something like this using our design system package. Right? To begin with, you first have to install fastn in your system. You can go to fastn.com/install and go through all the steps given here to install fastn in your system. I'll also provide a link to this in the description below. You also have to install a text editor. You can install any text editor of your choice. The step to that also is given here. And I have Sublime text editor installed in my system. So first we'll create a folder for this project in our local. I'm going to create a folder called talks talk notes demo. Right? Once I created this folder, I'm going to open my Sublime. Go to Sublime and open the folder that I just created. Talk notes demo. First, I'm going to create a new file and save it as fastn.ftd. I'm going to add the following code. So this is pretty self-explanatory. First, I'm importing fastn and creating a package, talk notes demo, and then adding the dependency fastncommunity.github.io/design system. Once I save this, I'm going to create another file called index.ftd. Now index.ftd is where the code for your entire page goes. If you have more than one page on your website, this is where your homepage, the code for your homepage goes. The package over here. Alias ds. Now I'll create a page. Just to show you how the page looks at this moment, I'm gonna add a heading. I'm gonna run this in my local. As you can see, the heading that we added is here, and also the page already has the dark mode and light mode switcher. So yeah, now we'll start with creating the talknotes.io website. Okay. Now let's take a look at the first part in the talknotes.io website, which is the header. Let's disintegrate the elements in this header to help us create the section. Okay. The first thing you see is the logo, and then a bunch of header links clubbed together, and then a couple of buttons, login and get top notes plus. So since all the elements over here, all the three elements over here are aligned next to each other, we'll be using section row to create this header section, right? Now let me show you how to create it. Uh, we'll first create a component called header. This is because it is a good practice to create any section of your website into components so that it's easier in the future to edit them, modify them, and so on. So we'll add ds.section row. For the logo, I'm going to just take the image of the logo and use it. Copy the image address. I'm going to use ftt.image. The source, I'm going to add the link. I'm going to give a width pixel percent, give 10. Now I'm going to call the header component over here. Now let's see the output. Yeah. Next are these header links. I'm going to create section. I'm going to create a row for this, and add all the header links over here. This forward slash means the home page itself. So let me show you the output of this. Okay. Now let's add all the other header links. Finally, okay. Next, we'll be creating another row for the buttons. For the login button, I'll be using a ds.info button. For the get top notes, I'll be using ds.phosphor icon button. Provide the link to the button as well. And then ds.phosphor icon button. Now, at fastn we are using phosphor icons. You can go to phosphoricons.com. You can use any icons that is given here. I'm just going to use arrow right, right now. So I'm going to copy the name of the icon. And then over here, paste it. And then provide the link as well. Yeah, now let's take a look at the output. Okay, now if you see, we have added all the content that is there in the header, but we still need to add sufficient spacing to make it look exactly like the website itself. So to do that, let me first start with the ds.section row. I'm going to first change the width of the header to flush full, and then add an insert or spaces, insert wide, large, and then I'm going to give a background for the header. So start background dot step 2, and then give a spacing between the elements like the logo, the header links, and the button. For that, I'm going to use ds dot spaces dot horizontal gap space between. Next, I'm also going to need some space after the header, right? Before the next section starts. So I'm going to give a margin, again ds dot spaces, vertical gap, extra large. So yeah, as you can see, we still have to give proper spacing for the header links and for the buttons as well to make it look exactly like this. So let's go back and give spacing for the header links row. For this, I'm gonna add spacing, spaces dot horizontal gap large. the width as fill container. Likewise for the buttons, I'm going to just give a width as a content, because unlike the header we need the buttons to stay close to each other. So now let's take a look at the output. Yes, so right now it's more or less similar to our actual website. You can even increase the spacing for the header links. Yeah, I think we need to include one more header link. Yeah, so the header section is now completed. We'll now move to the next section, which is the hero section. Now if you look at the hero section, it has two big sections, again placed next to each other. So we'll be using ds.section row to create the hero section. But if you look closer at this part, all the elements over here are arranged on top of each other. So for this part alone, we'll be using ds.column, and unlike the actual website which has a live component over here, we'll be taking it as a image, and then add all the effects that are given to the image, like the shadow effect over here and everything. Now let's start with creating this hero section. Again, we'll create a component for the hero section. Now first we'll add the column, use ds.column. So the first thing we see here is this big heading hero. So we'll use ds.heading hero. Next, for the next we'll be using heading small for this one. The next one we'll just use ds.copy large. After that we have the get top notes plus button. So we'll use phosphor icon plus icon. We're going to use arrow right, give the link. Now if you see, the size of this button and the button that we already created are completely different. So for this one, we'll be using a width as width full. Next, we have a small text over here with some stars, right? So for that, we are going to create a DS row and add ds dot copy small for that. We're using ds row because the text over here and the icons or image that is used here are aligned next to each other. So hence we are using a row. Yeah. Now we'll use the icons. We are again going to use the phosphor icons. So we'll use fill this time, phosphor dot fill, and then the name of the icon, star. You can check it out here as well. So I'm going to use this one. Okay. I'm going to give a size, say 18 pixels. Now since we are using phosphor icons, we need to add the dependency in the fastn.ftd file. So I'm using fastn.dependency, fastn.community.github.io / svg icons, and then I'm going to import the same in the index.ftd file. Pause. So now I'm going to copy paste line number 40 and 41 to create 5 stars. We'll now end the row, end colon ds dot row. Now we'll call the hero component after the header. Save the file and let's check the output. So as you can see, we have the heading hero, heading large, copy, a button, and then the stars and the line. So far, as you can see, we have finished this part. Now instead of the live component, we're gonna take this as an image and try to add the effects for the image, right? And once we complete this, we'll then move on to this badge over here. Now let's start with the image. Now to add the image, I'm first going to create a folder called assets and add the image there. So I've added the image here, I've named it hero. Now I'm gonna add the image using ftd.image, give a source assets slash hero.png, give a fixed with percent, fixed dot percent of 40, and then give border radius. So for that I'll use border hyphen radius dot pixel 15. Now for the shadow effect, I'm going to create the shadow separately. So I'm going to use ftd dot shadow, give a name for this, let's say yes, and then give all the attributes for the shadow over here. For example, color, you can use any hex code for the color. I'm going to use hashtag do d0 d0 d0. Give a blur effect. I'm going to use blur dot pixel of 8. Then give a spread dot pixel of 4. And I'm going to use the shadow for this image over here. Shadow colon dollar yes. Now let's see the output. As you can see, we have created the hero component to almost 80%. Now we'll add spacing between all the elements over here and between this section, this column in the image, and later we'll create this badge as well. As usual, we'll start from the section row, this component. We'll first give the spacing between these elements and then the image. So we'll be giving a horizontal spacing over here. For that, I'll add spacing $ds dot spaces dot horizontal gap hyphen gap dot extra large extra hyphen extra large. Yeah, I'll also give an insert of $ds dot spaces dot insert hyphen tall of 0 medium 0 hyphen medium. Likewise, I'll give the spacing for the column as well. So this is the spacing I'm going to give here will affect the spacing between these text. So for that, I'm going to use spacing colon dollar ds dot spaces dot vertical gap large. And then save it. Now let us see the output for this. Right. I also feel we can reduce the size of this heading. So I'll change from heading hero to heading large. I'm also going to align this line and the stars to the left side of this container. So I'm going to go to that row and write align content left. Let's see the output now. Yes. Now, like I said, let's start creating this batch. So inside a rectangular box, we have an image, and right next to that there are a couple of texts on top of each other. So to create something like this, I'm going to use ds.container, use ds.row to first add the image, and then use column to add both these text. So let's see how it's done. So I'm going to go to the ds.column of this hero component. I'm going to add the container, ds.container and ds.container. Like I said, inside this container, we'll first add ds.row and add the image. I've already saved the image as medal in the assets folder. So I'm going to use assets slash medal dot png, and I'm going to give a fixed width pixel in pixels. I'm going to use width dot fixed dot pixel of say 32, and then I'm going to create a ds dot column, give spacing, vertical gap as 0, because there is no gap between these text product hunt and hashtag product of the day. And I'm gonna align this whole thing to the left. I'm gonna use align content left. I'm gonna use ds.find print typography for the first text, hunt. I want to align this text to the left as well, so I'm gonna use align left. I'm gonna use ds.copy regular for the other text, one product of the day, product of the year. I'm going to give a color to the text since this is bolder than the previous text. So I'm going to use inherited dot color dot text strong. I also want to align this to the left. We'll use align left, and then close this column. And close the row as well. I'm going to give some attributes for the container as well, like insert, and since it has a radius, I'm going to use radius, give a background color. So for that, I'm going to use insert dollar ds dot spaces. I'm going to use insert square small. I'm going to give a width fixed percent of 50, give a background color, dot background dot step hyphen 2, and a radius. I'm going to use ds dot radius dot medium for this one. Now let's see the output. There is a typo here, so let's fix that. Right. So now we have to align this whole container to the left. Right. Let's go to the code. So now we'll add align content left to the column itself. So we'll add align content left. Yeah. So now you can see that this and the output we have are more or less similar. Let's fine tune it. So first we'll reduce the spacing between these text. So I'll go to that column and make it medium. Then I'm gonna add all the stars to a separate row and then use with hug content so that they're closer to each other. Give a spacing as well. As 0 and then with hug content. And I'm going to close this row and ds dot row. Save it. Now let's see the output. As you can see, we have achieved the same output as the original website. I hope this tutorial helps you to create components like this using the design system package. I went ahead and created the rest of the website as well. The link to the repo is also given in the description below. Do check it out. In the next video, I'll show you how to create a little bit complex components, something like these containers and even these testimonials as well. See you all in the next video. Thank you.